The best compliment I ever got was in the 10th grade when my best friend's father, after seeing me play puck in a Midsummer Night's Dream, said, "We gotta find a production of Peter Pan for that kid to star in." I always knew I was born to play Pan. I gotta grow. Clever as balance was ever my fortune to know. Because see, Peter Pan was a boy, but he was also a woman named Mary Martin. I knew this from before I even really knew it. Boy, why are you crying? Because I can't get my shadow to stick. Besides, I'm not crying. I never cry. I never cry. Except when I would trip on the playground when I was running around, and then I'd tear a hole in my stockings, and my mom would yell at me that if you want to run around with the boys, you shouldn't wear a dress. Or when I'd climb up high in a tall tree, and I'd get to the top, and then realize I'm really afraid of heights, and I'm downwards, and then or the time in the 5th grade where I got hit in the face with a basketball, and I didn't cry. And the whole class started applauding. They were clapping because I didn't cry. That's how much of a reputation I had as I was a crier. I was a crying, girly, silly girl. I was a girl. Tell anyone. I'm trying to fit into this word. It's very exclusive. Right? I can't even say it to you. Well, okay, maybe I can spell it. It's T like transition. And then R like, are you going on T? And then A, are you like a dude or a chick? No, I'm neither. Essentially, I'm trans. Okay, I'll just say it. Transgender. Or transgendered, if you prefer. But having trouble fitting into this word because along with being a girly, sissy girl, I was a nerd. A Latin nerd. A girly Latin nerd with girly non-nerd friends. Oh my God. I was in Latin class listening to my Walkman, and stupid Mr. Johnson caught me, and he was all like, "Would you care to grace the class with a modicum of your attention?" And I was like, no, actually, because Latin is a dead language. Yeah, so he sent me to the office. But anyway, I was totally right. Right? Latin is boring. Yeah, it's so boring. It's just so pointless and boring. I hate it. I mean, the only reason I get A's in it is because it's so boring. Clearly. I mean, except that it kind of makes English make sense, you know? Like, once you understand the accusative, then the direct object in English totally makes sense. And if you have the main verbs and nouns and prepositions and like any long word in English, you just know what it means. I mean, unless it has Greek roots, but that's cool, huh? It's cool. Okay, take this. Transgender. From the Latin, genus, generis, masculine, meaning kind, sort, or gender. Preposition trans, meaning across. So someone who is transgender is someone who's crossed from one gender to the other. Simple. Except what if I don't believe that there are only two genders? How can I have crossed some invisible line if I don't even think that line exists? Okay, I'm just thinking about it too hard, you know. Etymology is so boring. But there are these stories, you know. We all have stories, right? Coming out stories. Hair stories. Public restroom stories. Excuse me, sir, this is the ladies' room. Oh, honey, did you know that you're in the girls' a man and the ladies, I'm so sorry to bother you, huh? Oh, did you know that you're in the ladies' room? Where the hell else do you want me to change my tampon? Eventually you realize it's all the same story with varying degrees of danger or awkwardness. But, there are these other stories that I'm supposed to tell. Yeah, my mother had to force me to wear a dress. I didn't want any of that, you know, like My Little Ponies, Barbies. You know, I just wanted to play with my brother's trucks and run around, and I was playing softball, and you know, and like, I just always knew that I wasn't a girl. That's why you can't tell anyone I was a crier, because as a female-bodied transgender person, I'm not supposed to have been the prima ballerina in my dance class with pink bows and my Peter Pan haircut. I'm supposed to say, I have always been this way. I've always been what way? Have I always sensed that two options were not quite enough? Okay, maybe. Have I always been uncomfortable being called she? No, I used to be certain I was a girl. Okay, how about this? Have I always created my gender as a patchwork of the other genders around me? Yeah, okay, that's a little better. Have I always... God, I'm so sick of always! How could I always be anything? The only thing I've always been doing is changing and growing. Every experience, every moment, every interaction has formed me into who I am today, just like what's happening now will form me into who I am tomorrow. Okay. How about instead of always been this way, I have always been becoming what I am right now. What am I right now? Well, I like to think of myself as a faggot, to quote Alice. Yes, a flaming, female-bodied, queer, fag boy with an I, obviously. I mean, it's obvious, right? Excuse me, miss. Oh, right this way, ma'am. Oh, how are you girls today? How are you ladies doing? And how are you men? I'm fine, except that everyone thinks I'm a woman! Okay. Okay, I get it. That, not every stranger I meet will understand the subtleties of the difference between my gender and, their ingrained notion of women. But I'm not passing in the trans community either. I'm not passing as trans. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm afforded a lot of privilege and safety every day by this not passing. But if my own community can't see me, how can I call myself trans? That word! Oh, it just begins all these words that I embody and that I adore, like transgress, transcend, transparent, translucent, translate. Translate. Maybe there's another translation. Are there any Latin nerds in the house?
Woo!
Yes. Do you remember, are there any other translations for the preposition trans besides the cross? Anyone? Nobody remembers Latin?
Beyond.
Beyond. Beyond? Beyond. Beyond. So.
Ultra.
Beyond. So it doesn't have to mean crossing from one gender to another. It could mean going beyond the gender binary. I can transgress the rules. New ways of being can transpire. I can transcend gender. If I were a very ordinary, everyday thing, I'd never be